Om. The Light of Truth, Part 18, Chapter 11, Examination of the Religions Prevailing in India, Section 1. Now we shall examine the religions of the Aryas, that is, the people who lived in Aryavarta, that is, India. This country is such that no other country in the whole world can come up to the level of its excellence. It is also called the Golden Land, as it produces gold and precious stones. It was for the reason that in the beginning of the world the Aryas came to this country. The natives of all other countries on the earth praise this very country and believe that the philosopher's stone is to be found here. Though the story of the philosopher's stone is myth, yet it is true that this country, Aryavarta, itself is verily a philosopher's stone, whose very touch converts all base metals, poor foreigners, into gold, rich people. Since the beginning of the world till 5,000 years back, the Aryas were the sovereign rulers of the whole earth. In other words, there was only one paramount power whose suzerainty was acknowledged by the rulers of the earth. Till the time of the Kauravas and the Pandavas, all rulers of the earth and their subjects obeyed the law laid down by the rulers of this country. Question: is it true that the ancients knew the use of the firearms such as Agnyastra, about which we read in ancient Sanskrit literature? Were cannons and muskets known to the ancient or not? Answer: yes, it is true. Guns and like firearms were used in the ancient times. The Agnyastra and the like weapons can be manufactured by the application of scientific principles. All the knowledge that is extant in the world originated in Aryavarta, India. Thence it spread to Egypt, thence to Greece, thence to the whole continent of Europe, thence to America and other countries. Even today, India heads all other countries in the matter of Sanskrit learning. The impression that the Germans are the best Sanskrit scholars and that no one has read so much of Sanskrit as Professor Max Muller is altogether unfounded. Yes, in a land where lofty trees never grow, even the common castor oil plant may be called an oak. The study of Sanskrit being almost non-existent in Europe, German scholars like Professor Max Muller, who have read a little Sanskrit, may have come to be regarded as the highest authorities in Germany. But compared with India, the number of Sanskrit scholars in that country is very small. We came to know from a letter of the president of a German university that even learned enough to interpret a Sanskrit letter are rare in the Germany. We have also made it plain from the study of Max Muller's history of Sanskrit literature and his commentary on some mantras of the Vedas that the professor has been able to scribble out something by the help of the so-called paraphrases of the Vedas current in India. Prince Dara Shukah had also come to the same conclusion, namely, in no other language is knowledge to be found so good as in Sanskrit. He says in his commentary on the Upanishad that he read Arabic and other languages, but his doubts were never dispelled, nor was he ever so happy till he studied Sanskrit, which cleared all his doubts and made him extremely happy. It is pity that this jewel of country received such a rude shock from the Great War that even today it has not recovered from its effects. What doubt can there be in the ruin of a country wherein brothers begin to kill each other? Rightly has it been said, when the time of destruction is at hand, intellect becomes perverted. Vriddha Chanakya. The Vedas and the Shastras written by the Vedic sages and seers have declared men of learning as Brahmins and worthy of respect. But here they, who were ignorant, lascivious, deceitful, licentious, lazy, and irreligious, declared themselves as Brahmins and worthy of homage. But now could the sterling virtues of the righteous, learned, and truth-loving Brahmanas be found in them? When the Kshatriyas and others became absolutely destitute of Sanskrit learning, whatever cock and bull stories the Brahmanas concocted, the simpletons believed. They ensnared all in the net of hypocrisy, brought them under thorough control, and began to teaching whatever a Brahman declares is as infallible as words falling from divine lips. When the Kshatriyas and others who had more money and less brains became their dupes, these so-called Brahmins got a golden opportunity of enjoying sensual pleasures. They also declared that all the best things of the earth were meant for the Brahmins only. In other words, they subverted the whole system of classes and orders and based it on the mere accident of birth instead of on the qualifications, character, and works of the people as it originally was. They even began to accept charity given in the name of the dead. In fact, they did whatever they pleased. They went even so far as to say, "We are lords of the earth. No one can enter heaven without serving us." The so-called Brahmins of the present day say the same thing. Question: who are we then? Answer: you are popes. Question: who is a pope? Answer: the word pope is originally meant father in Latin, but here this term is applied to a person who robs another person through fraud and hypocrisy and achieves his selfish end. Question: no, we are Brahmins and holy men, that is sadhu. For our parents were Brahmins and we are the disciples of such and such a holy man. Answer: it may be true, but one does not become a Brahman or a sadhu by being the offspring of Brahman parents or a disciple of a sadhu. A man becomes a Brahman or a holy man by bearing good character, by doing righteous deeds, and by possessing such good virtues as altruism. It is said that the popes of Rome used to say to their followers, "If you will confess your sins before us, we shall grant your absolution from them. No one can enter heaven unless one pays homage to us and thereby obtains our permission. Should you wish to go to heaven, you must deposit money with us and you will get your money's worth of property there." Upon hearing this, those ignorant men who had more money than brains and were anxious to enter heaven would offer the stipulated amount of money to the Pope, who would then stand before the image of Jesus Christ or Mary and write down a draft in the following words: "O Lord Christ, the bearer has deposited rupees 1 lakh to thy credit with us in order to get admission into heaven. When he comes there, mayst thou be pleased to give him in thy Father's kingdom houses, gardens, and parks worth rupees 25,000, horses, carriages, hounds, and servants worth rupees 25,000, foods, drinks, and clothes, etc., worth rupees 25,000, and get him the remaining rupees 25,000 in cash so that he may entertain his friends, brothers, and other relations. The Pope would then sign his name on the draft and give it to the supplicant, saying, "Tell your family members beforehand to put this draft under your head in the grave before you are buried. The angels will then come to take you to heaven, and after you have been conveyed there along with the draft, you shall get everything mentioned therein. But let it be borne in mind that it is only those who practice fraud and hypocrisy and follow other evil occupations that are called popes, whilst those, even among the so-called Brahmins, who live righteous lives, are learned and devoted to the public good, deserve to be called true Brahmins and holy men." This evil took root 1000 years before the Great War, and even though the Vedic sages and seers lived in that age, yet the seeds of indolence, negligence, mutual jealousy, and hatred had begun to sprout a little, and gradually they grew into lofty trees. When the preaching of the truth died away, ignorance spread all over India, and its people began to quarrel and fight among themselves. For it is said, righteousness, wealth, gratification of legitimate desires, and salvation are attainable only when teachers of the highest type are found in a country. But in the absence of good teachers and good disciples, dense ignorance prevails. Whenever good teachers are born in to preach the truth, ignorance is dispelled and the light of truth begins to shine forth. Sankhya Darshan. When the people were completely brought under subjection, the popes became entirely negligent of their duty and extremely immersed in sensuality. As they were like shepherds and the people like their sheep, ignorant dupes knowledge, intellectual power, strength, courage, bravery, and valor, and all other good qualities were gradually lost. When they became licentious, they began to eat meat and drink wine secretly. Then a sect sprung up among them whose followers wrote books called the Tantras, in which various statements were introduced with words Shiva said, Parvati said, Bhairava said. In these books, such curious things are written as follows: Madhya, wine; Mansa, meat; Meena, fish; Mudra, cakes; Maithuna, population. All these five beginning with the letter M lead to salvation in all ages. Kali Tantra. He who drinks and drinks and drinks till he falls to the ground, gets up and again drinks, shall never be born again. Maha-Nirvana Tantra. Except his mother, let a man have sexual intercourse with all women. The Vedas and the Shastras and other ancient books are like harlots. Sexual intercourse with a woman in menses is like having a bath in the sacred tank and Pushkar. With an outcast woman, a pilgrimage to Kashi, Benares. With a woman working in leather like a bath in the Ganges at Prayaga, Allahabad. And with a washerwoman like a pilgrimage of Mathura, and with a prostitute like a pilgrimage to Ayodhya. Rudrayamala Tantra. Continued.